poem forms a profound substance of the philosophy of the sacred doctrine. And that's why Madame Blavatsky had given it at the very beginning of starting the stanzas, which form the detailed commentary of the Cosmogenesis Volume 1. So during last session, we covered the points where Blavatsky was shown the archaic book, different pages, their symbols and glyphs, and their meanings he explained, and also the first principle, or rather the absolute principle, and also the opinion in Orthodox religions, and how such opinions are not correct. This he explained briefly. So continuing with that, she said the occultists are one with Advaita Vedanta. Advaita Vedanta, that means where there is no duality between the Brahma and the creation. So this is Advaita philosophy, and therefore she says occultists are one. Occultist means also the theoretical doctrines, it is esoteric doctrine in line with the occultist doctrine. So these doctrines show the impossibility of creating or even evolving the golden egg into which it is said to enter in order to transform itself into Brahma, the creator who expands himself later into gods and all the visible universe. In the whole secret doctrine, and also in the poem itself, one of the main ideas is to point out the wrong concept of human mind or society, human society, of every religion about the God, about the concept of God. Generally, God has been considered in all the theology texts, including Hindu Puranas and Christian Bible, and also Quran and all other things, that he is the omnipresent, but he is also creator and he is sustainer. So in occult doctrine, otherwise Vedanta, this philosophy is denied. The unknown principle, the absolute principle cannot create. So what creates, that is explained here. So she refers to that story in our Purana where the Brahma enters the Hiranyagarbha, golden egg, and then comes out at Brahma in form Ishwar. So that sort of attribute, function, description is denied in its literal form. So unity cannot pass to infinity because a reason is given that it is one, and unity cannot be infinite, because infinite, when we say something infinite, that means the immediately concept of finite. Finite becomes infinite. One is neither finite nor infinite, though to human mind it can be called infinite. Unity cannot pass to infinity, for infinity presupposes the limitless extension of something and the duration of that something, and the one or is like a space, which is the only mental and physical representation on this earth. She says that the concept of the God or idea of God cannot be comprehended, or Brahma cannot be comprehended, but the space, infinite space, which is there, absolute space, can give some idea of that principle, and which is the only mental and physical representation of the earth. From that only, we can have some mental and physical conception about that unknown element. If one would suppose the eternal, infinite, all the omnipresent unity, instead of being in eternity, becoming through periodical manifestation, a manifold universe, or a multiple personality, that unity would cease to be one. Again, reason is given, if one supposes, as described in our various scriptures, that one becomes many and expands and creates and all those things. So he says if that is correct, then the unity no longer exists. Unity means absoluteness, and it cannot divide itself, it cannot manifest itself in various forms. Then what manifests, she explains further. So, and she also said the space it is said that space is a limited wire, but space is neither limited wire nor conditioned fullness. It is not void, not fullness, but because when you say void or fullness, that means duality comes. That means there is something container and something contained. Here there is no container contained. Everything is space. Every atom in space is space itself. So there is no either void or fullness because everything is one. So there is no between the and again she comes to that saying when Bible says, in him we live and move and have our being. And the Hindu Rishi says the universe lives in, proceeds from, and will return to Brahm. That means everything is always and every moment is within that or is a part of that. That means that Brahm, neuter. The unmanifested is that universe is abscondio and Brahma, the manifested Logos. Now she differentiates between Brahm and Brahma. Brahm is neuter, which is represented by absolute space, which is container also and content also. There's no difference. And then the Brahma comes out of it, or rather further is described, it is a ray of that Brahm during the Mahamanvantara. The God of the apostle and rishi being both unseen and the visible space. So only this, when she is talking about space, it is not a visible sky. The base of the sky behind that, the unseen space can represent that. And in secret doctrine, the space is called seven-skinned eternal mother father. It is this comes in the stranger, seven-skinned eternal mother father. Eternal mother father, eternal because it's always the dual principle, always there. During Pralaya, it is potentiality. During Pralaya, it is latency, and during Manvantara, it is potential. So that element is there. And why seven skin? Because it is from its undifferentiated to its differentiated surface of seven layers. That is, seven layers of manifested universe becomes during Mahamanvantara. But those seven layers are always there in latency while even Mahapralaya. So it is called seven skin eternal father. Then what is that which was, is, and will be, whether there is a universe or not, whether there be gods or not, or the esoteric stranger calcium, and the answer made space, capital. That is, space is always there, whether there is a Manvantara or there is a Pralaya, whether there are gods or not gods, whether there is any being or not being, but space is always there. In fact, space is the visible source of everything. And that's why T. Subbarao in his philosophy of Bhagavad Gita says, even the Logos does not know or does not understand the Parabrahm. The Logos means manifested ray of the Parabrahm during Mahapralaya. The Logos also knows the Mool Prakriti or space. Space is another name for Mool Prakriti, only as his source. It is not the one unknown ever present God, but now she is clarifying because people may say and have been saying that occult science or theosophy denies the existence of God. It is atheism. So to that clarification comes. It is not the one known, ever present God in nature or nature in abscondio that is rejected, but the God of human dogma and his humanized world. That means Godhood, a God element in nature is not dead. Because it already said that unknown principle is immanent in every particle, or every particle is that principle itself. So in that concept, the God element or God is not in nature is not denied, but what is denied is God of human dogma. Human dogma, that means human conception, whatever human mind has made. And she writes a very precise statement for that. She says, in this infinite conceit and inherent pride and vanity, man shaped himself with his sacrilegious hand out of material he found in his own small brain fabric and forced it upon the mankind as a direct revelation from the one universal space. Man, when you see man, man means not individual man as a society, different types of society. Their mind, their brain fabric is limited, and out of that they tried to conceive the idea of the God, which became sacrilegious, rather it's spoiling the sacredness of that whole thing, and that's why it is not correct. So, and that they call the God, which is not so, supreme God. So, occultism, the occultist accepts revelations as coming from the divine, yet is still finite being. Revelations, you say, as our in Vedas say, the Vedic shloka, they have come from the divine, from the God, or even the in Quran it is said, or that angel, Gabriel, angel gave the revelations to the Muhammad. Here he says the supreme God or Brahma is not revealed to anybody, but it is only through the divine beings who are the second or third or fourth stages of being intelligences during the whole creation, whole manifestation, from which all the knowledge comes. Never from the unmanifested one life that is Parabrahm or Brahma. Nothing comes from that directly to human mind. But it comes from whom? It comes from the primordial man, the Dhyani Buddha, Dhyani Chauhan, the Rishis, Prajapati of the Hindus, the Elohim or the sons of God, the planetary spirits of all nations who have become God for men. The planetary spirits have become God for all men. She says at another place that in our scriptures, what God has been described is almost third or fourth level of intelligence. So in hierarchy of intelligence, there will be Parabrahman, then that means unmanifested, unmanifested, then unmanifested, manifest, that is first cause, and then the second cause and third cause, first, second, and third laws, and then various forms of intelligences named as gods or Elohims or Dhani Chauhan. So in our scriptures, what God is mentioned, they are third or fourth level of intelligence because they are shown as functioning. They are shown as creating, blessing, doing everything, even destroying everything. So all the functions is performed by the lower level of intelligence. Occultist also regards the Adi Shakti, the direct emanation of Mool Prakriti, the eternal root of that, and female aspect of creative cause Brahma. The Mool Prakriti is a creative cause of Brahma. In fact, without Mool Prakriti, the principle or unknown cause cannot create anything. So Mool Prakriti is always there. And philosophically, it is called Maya during manifestation, and it is cause of all human Maya. But this view does not prevent him from believing in its existence so long as it is lost, to wit for one Mahamanantra. But then Mool Prakriti and manifested Prakriti lost for whole Manvantara, and not from applying Akasha, the radiation in Prakriti. And similarly, the Akasha, which is the element, one of the elements that is also lost for whole Manvantara, that is emanation of Mool Prakriti in practical purpose. And Akasha is always connected with the world soul. World soul means the Brahma, manifested God, manifested Logos. The oldest religion of the world exoterically. For the esoteric purpose, for the esoteric root of the foundation is one, or esoteric foundation of all religions are one and eternal and same time. But the exoteric form of oldest religions are, she says, or the Indian. When she the Indian religion, that means Vedic Dharma and also Buddhism. Then Mazedian, Zoroastrian religion, and the Egyptian. Egyptian, when you say not the present Egyptian religion, which is mostly Islam, but the Chaldean religion. And so Chaldean, the outcome of the entire loss to the world now. The Chaldean religion, the outcome of that is lost to the world because there is not a practicing religion anymore, except for a few adepts in the hierarchy. So, and then much later, in between, there have been many other religions, and there comes then Babylonian magic, and then finally comes the Jews, and then this Christianity and Judaism, and also Islam. Read by the light of the Johar, the initial 4 chapters of Genesis are fragments of a highly philosophical page in world's cosmology. Genesis, in the Old Testament of the Bible, that describes cosmogony. Cosmogony means the evolution of the cosmos in a anthropomorphic form, where God is again personified as a person who has got wife, who creates children, but these are only a symbolical description of the various powers during manifestation. And she refers to volume 3 in the Secret Doctrine. Volume 3, as we all often know, never came out, though initially Brodsky wrote in the conclusion to Secret Doctrine that volume 3 and 4 are ready, but after her death, these papers were not found or established conclusively. Left in their symbolical disguise, they are a nursery tale and ugly thorn in the science side of science. So she said these descriptions are so fantastic, so imaginary, that they, in the exoteric form, so they can be considered as a fairy tale. The occultism catechism contains the following questions and answers. He quotes some catechism from an old commentary where he said, "What is that ever is? What is that ever is? Space, the eternal Anupadika." Question is, what is that ever is? The answer comes, space, the eternal Anupadika. Anupadika means which is not produced from anything, which exists by itself, Svabhava. Then what is that ever was? The germ in the root. Germ in the root, germ which will become universe. What is that is ever coming and going? The great breath. So great breath, germ root, and space are always there. Then there are 3 eternal questions from them. There are 3 eternals. No, these 3 are one. That means only one eternal has all the 3 aspects. That means space, the germ, and the great breath. So there is no division between the 3. Only during manifestation, these 3 aspects can be perceived. Explain, O Nano, the one is an unknown circle. Now symbolically it is being explained. The one is an unbroken circle with no circumference. Unbroken circle with no circumference. That means no limit. For it is nowhere and everywhere. It is nowhere and everywhere, meaning human mind cannot perceive it, but it is there in every particle, immanent. But human mind, so for human mind is nowhere, but it is everywhere. For one is the boundless plane of circle, manifesting a diameter only during Manvantara period. The one is the individual point found nowhere, perceived everywhere during those periods. During Manvantara period, it is perceived only, it is not found. So it is the vertical and horizontal, the father and mother, the summit of the base of the father, the 2 extremities of mother reaching to the reality nowhere. For the one is the ring, as also the rings that are within. Now she is trying to explain that that Parabrahma is explained by a boundless circle. So I am in a meeting, I'll talk to you later. So boundless circle, and in that there is a germ which will manifest as a universe, and then before that there will be entered vertical line. That means there will be 2 aspects will manifest: spirit and matter, or Purusha and Prakriti. So light is darkness and darkness is light. That is called again a very mysterious explanation. The light in darkness and darkness light. That means that state cannot be described as light or darkness. It is all dark to human mind. It is all dark to human mind. But when human mind advances at certain level, consciousness goes up, then it perceives the light. So breath, which is eternal, it proceeds from without inwardly. Proceeds from without inwardly. That means the breath is always there, but even Mahapralaya, the vibration is there. But during Manvantara, it proceeds from out inward. That means it concretizes, it forms these so many planes of the material world, physical world, and astral world, and mental world. So that means concretizes that breath itself. So breath is eternal. It comes from without inwardly when it is everywhere, and from within outward when it is nowhere, and when it dissolves, it is nowhere described. It expands and contracts. For clearer understanding on the part of the general reader, it must be stated that occult sciences recognizes 7 cosmic elements. Now, after describing somehow the Parabrahm, then the manifested universe, and 7, and also the great breath and the space, now she comes to the elements. The occult science understands and accepts that there are 7 cosmic elements, 4 entirely physical, that means earth, water, air, and fire. And the 5th ether, it is called Akasha now, but it is not really Akasha, semi-material, as it will become visible in the air towards the end of 4th round. The ether or Akasha, now it is not perceivable nor invisible. Air can be perceived, but air cannot be seen because it is also colorless. He says at the end of 4th round, we are in 4th round middle almost, cross the middle. At the end of 4th round, the 5th element, ether, will be, human will be able to perceive that. And that in the 4th and the 5th round, it will become manifest. That means the human organ will completely feel it, just like we are feeling air. Now, the remaining 2 are absolutely beyond the range of human perception. Remaining 2 elements. These 2 will appear as presentation during the 5th and 7th round, 7th races of this round, and become known in the 6th and 7th round. That means in each race, one element becomes perceptive, and in each round, one element becomes manifest completely. So in 6th and 7th races, they will be perceived, and 6th and 7th round, they will manifest fully. These 7 elements, with their numberless sub-elements, far more numerous than those known to science, are simply conditioned modification on aspects of one and only element. These are all 49 or innovative elements are manifestation of only one element, which is not named. In fact, in Mahatma letter says, the name of that one element is not given even to highest adept at this stage of evolution. But in description, it is described that it can be taken as Brahma Padarth or spirit matter combined. The latter is not ether, not even Akasha, but the source of these. Latter means the Akasha, the space. The 5th element, now advocated quite freely by science, is not the ether. Now here she is clarifying, the ether which science describes is not the ether which is described in theosophy of science. Nature is the perpetual circulatory worker, generally fluids out of solids, fixed things out of volatile, and volatile out of fixed, subtile out of gross, and gross out of subtile. Thus, perhaps, may all things be originated from ether. So, in manifestation, there is always constant change. Solids change into fluids, fluids into gases, then gases again to fluids, and fluids to gases. This goes on. So, nothing perpetual, no state remains perpetual. And at the present stage of evolution, everything is supposed to become from ether. Though, actually, according to occult science, everything is coming from the 1st element, which is not named now. The reader has to bear in mind that stanzas given treat now, since this is PROEM now, now it is coming to just prelude of the stanzas, which form the basis of the detailed commentary of cosmogony. So the description or mention of stanzas come. The reader has to bear in mind that stanzas given treat only of the cosmogony of our own planetary system and what is visible around it after the solar flare. When we come to stanzas, we will see that stanzas given as abstract formula for manifestation, and it applies to whole system, either the planetary chain, our planet, solar system, or the cosmos, and galaxies, etc. But here she is clarifying that actually strangers given here uh, describe mainly our planetary system, our own solar system, what is visible around after all the solar pralaya. The secret teaching with regard to the evolution of the universal cosmos cannot be given. Since they could not be understood by the highest minds in this age, and there seem to be very few initiates, even among the greatest, who are allowed to speculate upon this subject. That means cosmic evolution is not described. The knowledge of that, she says, cannot be given because it cannot be understood even by the highest initiate at this stage of evolution. Moreover, the teachers say openly that are not even the highest Dhyani Chauhans have ever penetrated the mysterious beyond those boundaries that separate the milliards of solar systems from the central sun at is the core. So she again said that the statement means that whatever knowledge is given in the secret doctrine or Mahatma letter, that is still a part of that ultimate thing. We should not consider that the ultimate thing is given because ultimate thing cannot be given at this stage even to highest adepts because they will not understand. Therefore, that which is given relates only in our visible cosmos after night of Brahma. Visible cosmos means that visible in the solar system, our own solar system. And as we know, our own solar system is one of the millions of other solar systems, and our solar system is comparatively a smaller one. Other solar systems are much bigger. Before the reader proceeds to the consideration of the stanzas from the book of Dhyan, which form the basis of the present work, it is absolutely necessary that she should be made acquainted with a few fundamental conceptions and underline few fundamental conceptions. This we have already covered while dealing before PROEM, the esoteric principle basis of the philosophy of sacred doctrine. But so we'll not go in detail because detail we have already covered. So briefly, we'll just mention that. The fundamental ideas and propositions are covered in this. The first is an omnipresent, eternal, boundless, and formless principle on which all speculation is impossible, since it transcends the power of the human conception and could only be dwarfed by any human expression, similitude. It is beyond the range and reach of the thought, in the words of the Mandukya Upanishad, unthinkable and unspeakable. So this we discussed and described in detail during our previous sessions. And in that it is said that this one, that unknown cause or unknown principle appears as two aspects, respiratory matter. It appears only, but it is never divided into two aspects. So apparent two aspects, mood and prakriti. Out of that comes the logos, which is called Brahma, and then whole universe appears. The contrast of these two aspects, cosmic substance as cosmic ideation, and the cosmic ideation also comes from the motion aspect of the that unknown principle, which becomes the consciousness, universal consciousness, and which again becomes consciousness of individual beings. So manifested universe therefore is pervaded by duality, which as it were the very essence of the existence. So manifested universe is always fueled by duality. That means spirit and matter, or Purusha and Prakriti. And those two are connected by a force which has been termed as sacred doctrine is force, that link between matter and mind. Matter is there, mind is there, or energy field is there, and material world vehicle is there, and connecting of these two, there's the element which is called force, which is later described as it is same as second logos. Second logos connect the first logos and third logos, and second logos appears in the form of all the energy, life principle, and from that all the manifested energy, even our electricity, are one of the manifestations of that force. It is summarized as the absolute, the Parabrahman of Vedantin, as the one reality, Sat, which is the Hegel says both absolute being and non-being. The first principle is considered as the absolute being and non-being. It is as Sat, beingness. The first manifestation, the impersonal and the philosophical unmanifested logos, the percussor of the manifested. This is the first cause. Then comes the first cause, which is also an unmanifest manifest, or it is called first logos. First logos again has to be manifest secondary cause, which will appear as universe. So then the spirit matter, life, the spirit of the universe, the Purusha and Prakriti comes then first logos. And then comes cosmic ideation, Mahat or intelligence appears. Cosmic ideation or Mahat appears. So these stages are there described and summarized. Parabrahman, then first cause or unmanifested logos, and then the spirit matter life, which is the second logos. Second logos is dual. So spirit matter are there, Purusha and Prakriti there. And then third logos or Mahat, cosmic intelligence, from which mind and intelligence comes of every being. So the one reality is dual aspect in the conditioned universe. Further, the secret doctrine affirms. Then second principle is eternity of the universe in its total, as a boundless plane periodically, the playground of numberless universe successfully manifesting and disappearing. The second principle says that there is periodicity in the manifestation. The innumerable universes appear in that field, which is called Parabrahman, and they appear and disappear, and they always remain part of that. The appearance and disappearance of world like a regular tide, ebb and flux and reflux. And the secret doctrine with the absolute inversity of law of periodicity can be seen in nature in the form of night and day, life and death, sleeping and waking. And this principle of periodicity applies to every level, including up to the highest logos. The Brahma also disappears and appears. Few days back, one scientist article appeared where they say that now scientific theory is coming to that everything bounces back, everything disappears and bounces back. That means black hole, which is described by science as a state where all the manifested universe disappear in the black hole, converts itself into white hole, and everything which has gone into it comes back again, just like a ball when thrown on the floor bounces back. Similarly, each unit, each being of a manifested universe, when dissolved, not dissolves actually, when disappears during Mahapralaya, again bounces back during next Manvantara. So that is the idea coming, and now scientific theories are converting this to different worlds. Then third is the fundamental identity of all souls with the universal over soul. All souls, when we say, is not only human soul. The soul in everything, in animal, in vegetables, in mineral, in elemental. So, but they are all identical with the universal soul, which is the logos, and that itself is a root, an aspect of the unknown root. That logos is not the aspect of the unknown root, it is Parabrahman. It is said clearly aspect. It is not a manifestation. It is not an emanation. It is an aspect. And the obligatory pilgrimage for every soul, a spark of the former through the cycle of incarnation or necessity, in accordance with cyclic and karmic law during the whole term. And the unknown root is the object to which every soul is moving, upward or upward in upward and downward circles. That means in pravritti and nivritti chakras guna. But object of all the cycle is that each soul, or here actually we call each monad, which has come from that thing, that principle, again goes back to that at the end of Mahamanvantara. So this journey is called cycle of necessity, circle of necessity, and that is performed by the law of karma and law of reincarnation. So everything gets reincarnated, not only man, but even gods and logos, everything gets reincarnated at different levels for this purpose. So the Hindus say the universe is Brahma and Brahma. So she's quoting the Hindu philosophy where it said universe is both Brahma and Brahma. Brahma means the essence and Brahma means manifested. That means manifested world. Manifested world means everything, including right from elemental to all the kingdoms. and each particle, each being, and also Brahm, the essence behind it, all is whole is constitute universe. That means Brahm is always there in Brahma. So Brahma is never separated from Brahma. Our universe is never separated from Brahman, from that absolute principle. So Brahma is in every atom of the universe. This is repeated. Brahma is every. These words of Brahma and Parabrahma are intermixed in description. Also in Upanishad also, the word mostly used is Brahm, not Parabrahm. So the Brahm is in every atom of the universe. In fact, that atom itself is Brahm. The six principles in nature being all the outcome, the variously differentiated aspects of the seventh. And the seventh, there are seven principles, and the lower six are the outcome of the first one, the seventh one. Seventh one counting from the bottom, and the first one counting from the top. But the first one is the only reality. That Adi level, Adi Astar is the only reality, where there is a original or Mool Prakriti level, or also the unmanifested Logos level. So, on the plane of manifestation and from the sixth Brahma, the vehicle of Brahma is called the vehicle of Brahma. Just like our body are vehicle of our soul. So Brahma is the soul of Brahma. So that means whole universe is the vehicle of that Brahma, and they are viewed by metaphysical anti-phrasal like illusive and Mayavati, and the whole Brahma, whole universe is considered as Maya or illusive or temporary, anitya. Because whole universe also merges or disappears in that absolute principle when the Mahapralaya comes. For although the root of every atom individually and of every form correctly is that seventh principle or the one reality, is still in its manifested phenomenal and temporary appearance is no better than evanescent illusion of our senses. So the point is being emphasized that though everything, even the smallest or meanest thing in manifested universe, has come from the highest principle, from the seventh principle, but in its apparent form, in its temporary form, it is always evanescent illusion. It is always temporary, anitya, and therefore called illusion, therefore called Maya. That means nothing is permanent. Even it is also mentioned Yoga Vasisht when Ram says to the Rishi Vasisht that even Shiva and Vishnu and Brahma also die. They also disappear at their age, when their age comes. It is the absoluteness, the one principle under its two aspects of Parabrahman Mool Prakriti is sexless, unconditioned, and eternal. The one principle had no gender. It is unconditioned, that means no attribute, no guna, and eternal. Its periodical emanation or primal radiation is also one. Here the word is emanation, but later on Broadly clarifies in field theory there is no emanation. It is only like forming a shadow. And here it is called radiation. Different words are used because those that actual thing cannot be explained by a limited human mind to another limited human mind. So these various phases are considered. Sometimes emanation, sometimes radiation, sometimes making a shadow of that. All these phases are given. After Pralaya, whether the great or the minor Pralaya, the first that reawakes to an active life is the plastic Akasha, father, mother. After the Pralaya, awakening starts from the top. That means father, mother, that space comes into manifest further, first, or it is father, mother, son, then the son appears, that universe appears. But whereas in the Eastern or doctrine, these are the seventh principle of the manifest universe, or Atma, Buddhi, Manas, and then Atma, Buddhi, Manas, or the what is called soul appears. The triad branching off and dividing into seven cosmic and seven human principles, and the Western Kabbalah of the Christian mystics in triad or trinity and their occultists the male, female, Java, Eva. So she is describing the Christian theology also, and also Hindu philosophy and Kabbalah philosophy, and trying to compare that in each description, same process is described in different words. The mystics and the philosophers, the Eastern and Western pantheists, synthesize their pre-genetic triad in the pure divine abstraction. The pre-genetic triad, that means before the physical universe appears, pre-genetic, manifest universe appears, every religion considers of a triad. Triad means three aspects of the one divine principle. Like in our case, the Brahma, Shiva, Vishnu, and Brahma. In the Bible, that Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, and similarly in other philosophies also. But she says these three actually are not separate beings. These three are the hyper state, a kaল্පનિc state, imaginary state of one principle, which is the manifested logos. So the Hiranyagarbha, Hari, and Shankara, three hypostates of the manifesting spirit of the Supreme Spirit. Manifesting spirit of the Supreme Spirit. Supreme Spirit is termed for Brahman, and the manifesting spirit, that means Logos. They are purely metaphysical abstract qualities of formation. And these three names, Hari, Shankara, and Hiranyagarbha. Hiranyagarbha is the name of Brahma, and Hari is the name of Vishnu, and Shankara is the name of Shiva. So these three are hypostates, not hyperstates. And these three represent only three qualities of that one Logos, that means formation, preservation, and destruction, but they're never separate. And these three functions always go on together. Just like a human body, you can observe the human cells of our body always get destroyed, new cells are produced, and those new cells, when are produced, they sustain for some time. So generation, preservation, and destruction or regeneration goes on at every level, from minutest from smallest to the highest level. That means from smallest cell to the galaxy, to the largest galaxy and largest solar system. This process goes on. At every moment, some solar system is getting dissolved, new solar system are coming, and after coming, the solar system is preserved. Similarly, at every moment, the beings are being on this earth are dying and being born and sustaining for their life. Every being, human, animal, plants, and elements and mineral item, everything. So she said the name of the function of these three principles are the same. Their name. For example, she said the Vishnu. Vishnu means wish, which is immanent everything. So that means that a principle which is immanent everything and which sustained everything, that has been called Vishnu. And Brahma is, which is Vishnu, expansion, which expands. That means the manifested universe which appears in various forms, that is called Brahma. The triangle, which is Brahma, Vishnu, or Shiva, or Father, Son, Holy Ghost, they, in further description in theology, forms perfect cube. Perfect cube, that means solid, that human body. Philosopher are, and this perfect cube, are physical body or physical universe, or even the creative gods and aggregate gods are regarded by the Eastern philosopher Bhranti Darshana. So even these creative gods, that means Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, and also one universe, are called Bhranti Darshana in Eastern doctrine, Advaita Vedanta. That they are also not real, not real in the sense they are not also eternal. False apprehension. If we consider them eternal, that is false apprehension. Something conceived of by reason of erroneous appearance as a material form, and she again emphasizing that human mind considers these in a material form, in a physical form, and that is erroneous conception. Even these three functions cannot be, to consider these three functions of one spirit, manifesting spirit, in certain forms is erroneous, out of erroneous concept of human mind. So this is illusive conception, egoistic personal human soul. The idea of a personal God is rejected by esoteric science and also theosophy. And she said this sort idea comes from the egoistic personal human soul. The human soul considers itself as God and that transfers that image into a concept of God. So that is why it is called egotistic. It is beautifully expressed in a new translation of Vishnu Purana that Brahma in its totality has essentially the aspect of Prakriti, both evolved and unevolved, Mool Prakriti, and also the aspect of a spirit and aspect of time. A spirit, O twice born, is the leading aspect of the Supreme Brahman. The next is twofold aspect, Prakriti, both evolved and unevolved, and time is the last. So here she quotes sometime the scriptures. Here she is quoting Vishnu Purana that this idea is given there that these are the only aspects. There nowhere separate entity of Brahma and Vishnu and all these deities which are described here, and everything is appearing as a Prakriti and evolved and unevolved. At this stage of reawakening the universe, the sacred symbolical represents in a perfect circle with the root point in the center. The sign was universal, therefore we find it in Kabbalah L. The when manifestation starts, it is represented in a symbolic form as a point within the circle, which was the second page shown to Blavatsky mentioned in the beginning of the PROEM. And she said this is found in Kabbalah doctrine also. The Western Kabbalah, however, now in the hands of Christian mystics, ignores it altogether, though it is plainly shown in Johar. Johar is their mystic book, just like our Upanishads are there. These sectarian begins at the end and show as the symbol of pre-genetic cosmos this sign, that means cross. Cross within the circle is shown by them as the original. She said by ignorance, but that is the last. That means manifested because it is represented by the cross, which is the last of the various stages of manifestation. That means first circle, then point within the circle, then horizontal line, then vertical line, and then cross moving. So cross moving is the last one. But this is by erroneous conception shown as the primer one. The union of rose and cross, the great mystery of occult generation, from whence the name Rosicrucian. Rosicrucian is also a sect or a system where these spiritual practices are done. The rose and cross are made symbol. This is Masonic. This is almost a stage of Masonic principle. As may be judged, however, from the most important as the best known of the Rosicrucian symbol, there is one which has never been hitherto understood in by modern mystics. This various this system, she said, Masonic systems and every other system is described in the form of symbol. So one symbol in Rosicrucian Masonic practice is that pelican. Pelican is a bird carrying upon its breast to feed its 7 little ones the real creed of the brothers of the through the cross and a direct outcome from the Eastern secret doctrine Brahm neuter is called Kalhansa, meaning as explained by the Western Orientalists, the eternal swan or guru, and so is Brahma, the creator. A great mistake is thus brought under notice. It is Brahma neuter who ought to be reflected to a Hansvana. Now she says that in Rosicrucian philosophy, a symbolic description there that pelican bird opens its breast, tears its breast, and brings out 7 chickens and feeds them. What is the 7? That means 7 elements comes out of the one Mool Prakriti. That is the meaning of that. And again, a description in Hindu philosophy, she says, Brahma is shown as Kalhansa, but Brahma is not Kalhansa. Actually, Brahm is shown as Kalhansa, but in reality, the Brahma will be Kalhansa and Brahm will be a rider on the Hansa. That means Brahma or universe manifested Logos is to be considered as a vehicle of the Brahma principle. A great mistake is thus brought. So the Brahma neuter, who ought to be referred to as Hans Vahana, the Brahma is to be referred as Hans Vahana, he who uses the swan as his vehicle, not Brahma, the creator, who is the real Kalhansa. So Brahma is the Kalhansa and the Brahma is Hans Vahana. While Brahma is Hansa and Aham, as will be explained in the commentary. Let it be understood that the terms Brahma and Parabrahma are not used here because they belong to the specific nomenclature, but simply because they are more familiar to the students of the Western West. Both are the perfect equivalent of our 1, 3, and 7 vowel terms. So Brahma and Parabrahma, she clarified, these terms are used not because they form a special doctrine, but they are more familiar. In actually, though that Brahma and Parabrahma are described in very similar terminology in various philosophies, but in the secret doctrine, mostly this term used, because he says the reason is that Western people are more familiar with these terms. So once that reader has gained a clear comprehension of them, the philosophy outlined above, and realized the light which they throw on every problem of life, they will need no further justification in his eyes, because the truth will be to him as evident as the sun in heaven. Here is one very specific and very strange-looking statement being made by Bro.U, that these philosophies, they throw light on every problem of life. Now, how to consider that? Every problem of life arises because of what is called avidya, ignorance. And avidya and ignorance, greatest avidya and ignorance is that, as described again and again, the human mind has considered the lower intelligences as supreme deity, supreme God, and has tried to invoke those deities to serve its own personal selfish purposes. So this is the problem. This is the whole problem. In fact, secret doctrine and Bro.U again and again says that this conception of personal God and invoking that God and trying to get something for selfish purposes has caused all the evils and crimes in the society. So this knowledge is given throws on every problem life, and that's why every problem life arising out of that ignorance, out of avidya, can be solved by this light. Because that truth will be to him as evident as the sun in heaven. I pass on therefore to the subject matter stanzas as given in this volume, adding a skeleton outline of them in the hope thereby rendering the task of the student more easy by placing before him a few words. Now then about the stanzas, he's giving a brief introductory para. The history of cosmic evolution as station stanzas is, so to say, the abstract algebraical formula. As I mentioned above, the stanzas are described as only formula, not the detailed description. So they cannot be again considered as literal description of each and every stage, because each and every stage is innumerous stages, and those cannot be described in a limited book. So the stanzas therefore give an abstract formula which can be applied mutatis mutandis to all evolutions, as that of our tiny Earth, to that of chain of planets of which the Earth forms one, to the solar universe in which that chain belongs, and so on, in an ascending scale till the mind reads and exhausted in upper. So this is only formula given in the stanzas which can be applied to its level. The 7 stanzas given in this volume, Cosmogenesis, represent the 7 terms of the abstract formula. They refer to and describe the 7 great stages of the evolutionary process, which are spoken in Puranas as the 7 creations. Our Purana mentions Sat Srishtiya. So she said these 7 stanzas represent those 7 Srishtiya, 7 creations, and the Bible is called 7 days of creation. So this is the explained, and therefore, and later on she gives some brief introduction of these 7 stanzas before going on further commentary. So I think the time is up, and here I close.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. If anyone like to ask questions on this particular subject, they are welcome to ask questions. There is a question from Madhav Sharma.
Yes, बताइए.
Adi is called divine world.
Hmm?
Adi is
Hmm.
called divine
Divine is
world.
everything.
And
Divine is,
Anupadak monadic world.
Anupadik is second word. Anupadik is second plane. Adi Anupadak.
So
Anupadik.
what is the field of logic manifestation? What
Logos.
is the field of logic manifestation? Kindly explain. Kindly advise.
Okay. Loga is manifestation. The logos star manifest star from Anupadak level. The first logos and second logos the Atma level and third logos is Adi Anupadak and then Atma and Buddhi. So first logos it starts at Adi level, second logos at Anupadak level, and third logos at Atma level. So these are the states, but at some places the first logos shown as Anupadak level. So, but in the secret doctrine, it is mostly used at Anupadak level. But at Adi level is root of everything. So every manifestation will start at the second level. But in the scriptures, it is described as the at the first level itself, Adi level. Is it clarified?
Madhavji, are you now satisfied? Madhavji.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay. Welcome, sir. Now, Madhavji, kindly sing the closing prayer. So we are going to close. There is no more questions.
Yes, sir. Am I audible, sir?
Yes.
Om Ashato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritangamaya Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina Sarve